What's going on, everybody? So obviously there's no vlog this week. It's been a little bit of a slow burn for me here, but I do have two out-of-state shoots happening in the very near future. So you guys will be following along with me behind the scenes through all of that traveling goodness. For now, I figured I would sit down and have a conversation about my journey to videography and through videography and what it's been like, because I don't think it's the traditional journey that everyone else has had, and I realized that I haven't talked about it on the channel before. So, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Andrew, and I'm a professional freelance videographer whose mission is to help others tell riveting stories and impact the world around them. But I didn't always know that that was my mission, and that's what I want to talk about today. My journey and my path have been hard. It's not the traditional approach of having this one favorite movie that inspired me into the career path of cinematography. It's not that I've picked up a camera and made home movies all the time, all throughout my youth into adolescence. That wasn't my experience at all. A lot of people have it, but for me, the only real connection that I had to film and to TV was that I loved it. I couldn't get enough. I loved watching movies, I loved watching TV, and I always remember feeling strong, visceral, emotional connections to characters that resembled me or people in my life and the situations that were presented on film. So that was really my only connection to filmmaking. But I didn't know that it was going to affect me until about 5 years ago. 2019 was when I started to catch the itch for making videos. In 2019, my wife, then fiance, was in school for nutrition education. She was on her way to become a registered dietitian, and she wanted to build a YouTube channel that helped others learn about nutrition, but learn about nutrition in a fun way. Most of the channels that we were seeing had a lot of, rigidness, structure. They were just straight to the point, not a lot of personality. So she wanted to create something that was fun, energetic, theatrical. We had met doing community theater. I was the sound guy and she was one of the actresses. So she's always had sort of a performative personality. So she would educate through skits and through parodies and all these other things. And me being the tech savvy person in our relationship, I was the one that was filming, editing, and helping her to post it. Not that I had any background in that, but after a few videos, a lot of friends and family members started to compliment us on how well the videos came out and how cool they were and fun they were and engaging. And that was the first inclination of, okay, there's something here. Fast forward a few months, the company I was working with at the time, an e-commerce retailer, they had a need for product videos and people learning about their products in a more in-depth way. I said, I'll take a crack at it. So I started making these product videos at home during the pandemic, and they actually really took off. I got a lot of compliments from coworkers, and I saw the 3 YouTube videos that the company had grow over 2,500 subscribers in just a span of 10 months. So again, there was that hint of this might be worth something. I had taken a couple of clients, the karate school that I work at part-time and the kickboxing coach that works out of there. They both got promo videos from me, and I was able to connect with a local fitness studio through those people and film a promo video there, all of which can be found on my channel, by the way. And they were all filmed on my iPhone. I didn't have any other equipment at the time, so I was just filming things on my iPhone and my GoPro. So let that be a lesson. You can start a business with just filming on your phone and your GoPro. And while I was having fun, I wasn't growing a database of clients. I didn't really have a strong network. I didn't really have a strong track record. And I didn't have equipment to land those bigger clients. Early 2022, a friend of mine reached out. We had met online during the pandemic. We were both podcasting at the time, and we had both had each other on our shows. And he reached out asking if I still did videography. I said yes, and assuming he was trying to offload some equipment, I was like excited because, I needed camera equipment. He said, no, I'm not selling, but I did just book a client who's in your neck of the woods. Would you want to go and film that session for me? And I was hesitant. I almost turned him down because I didn't have any previous client experience. but I said, you know, what the heck? I've got to learn somehow. So I actually rented all the equipment that I needed for that shoot. And he walked me through the process of what the 2 shoot days were going to look like. I drove up and did the shoot. And somewhere in that shoot, I remember distinctly having a moment where I was sitting listening to this story and I just got chills across both my arms. I felt water and tears forming in my eyes. It was just a very visceral, emotional story. And I felt it almost like I felt those TV shows and movies that I've watched my entire life and the connections that I made through those characters. And I even had to say to the provider, like, whoa, like, I just got goosebumps. Like, that's real. I didn't realize that was going to impact me like that. That's so cool. And that was the first inkling of I want to hear told more stories like this and I want to share more stories like that. That was 2 years ago. That was my first gig with this marketing agency that I work with. A couple months later, they sent me on another gig. A few months later after that, they sent me on another gig. And now I handle almost all of their client work across the country. And on every single shoot, there is at least one moment like that where I still get goosebumps, where I still feel water welling in my eyes because each of these seemingly ordinary people have such an impactful, powerful story, and it just needs to be shared with others. And it was somewhere in this last 2 year period where I continued to say, like, I want to tell more stories like this. I want to get these stories out into the world because if I'm having this impactful, reaction to it, and this is so outside the scope of what my life looks like. As a reminder, this is a midwifery marketing agency, right? These are people that are giving birth out of the hospital, no pain meds, nothing like that. To have that visceral connection to these people sharing their stories, I want to get that in front of people who are having those shared life experiences or people who are considering that as a method of delivering their kids, right? And if I can have that reaction, then they can have that reaction. But that's what's so powerful to me about video work, right? Whether it's a 2 to 3 minute video on your business or your brand, or you're making a, short film or a feature length film, there are ways that you can connect emotionally to others. It's so cool and it's so neat to think about that I want to help tell those next great stories. Whether they're fictional, whether they're narrative and it's somebody's real life, I lean towards more of the real life stories. But, just to be able to be a part of that journey and that experience is so cool to me. It's so awesome. Even if my name's not on it. Honestly, that has been a lot of my career, even leading up to videography. I was doing audio engineering, I was running venues, front of house, back of house, doing all of this stuff that didn't have my name on it, but getting to be a part of the puzzle piece and seeing everything come together at the end of the day, watching people leave a concert saying, that was the best show ever, I can't wait to come back. Or hearing somebody say, wow, that video was really awesome. And just contributing to a positive experience for the masses, that has always been something that I've been really eager to be a part of and really it's been really motivating for me to try to find that along the way. For the longest time, I didn't know that that's what I wanted to do. And so when I found it, it was almost like a light bulb moment, and now I can't get enough of it. I just want to help fill the world with better stories. And it might sound cheesy, but it's really been a driving factor. Everybody on YouTube talks about niches and finding your niche, whether that's, sports or food and beverage or weddings or whatever. But honestly, I have a ton of interests and I want to make video about all of those interests. So I don't feel like I should niche down. But what I can do is niche down into great storytelling and finding those meaningful, impactful stories and working with those people. And so that is ultimately what I want to do with my videography business. It took me a long time to figure that out. So yeah, the short version is it took me 15 years to find videography after jumping around from what I want to do to what I want to do to what I want to do. Once I found videography, it took another 3 years to land on my mission and on storytelling. So it's been a long journey, but I've been enjoying the ride so much. I used to get bored from job to job to job. I would come in all excited, ready, eager to learn, and then 6 months to a year into it, I'm like, okay, I'm done. Like, I want to move on to something else. And videography has probably been the first thing that just continues to keep me going, and I continue to find pleasure and enjoyment out of making videos and making stories. So I don't think I'm going anywhere anytime soon, and I'm excited and eager to see where this takes me, where this journey takes me, and what lies ahead. That is, in a hopefully brief nutshell, my experience with videography and this crazy journey that I've been on. If you got anything out of this, I'd love to hear from you down in the comments below. Please feel free to consider subscribing. More vlogs coming to the channel soon. Let me know if this kind of content resonated with you and if you want to see other things like it in the future. Until then, again, I am Andrew, and I will see you in the next video.